Let me do this one first. Recall that matter concerning the mayor of Spanish Town, chairman of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation, Norman Scott. A story our friends at the Observer carried 2 days ago that the assault case against Mayor Scott has been in the Balaclava Criminal Court. Yes. Recall that on election day, Mayor Scott was accused of slapping an election day worker for the JLP, Julie Francis, in the face, damaging her glasses in the process, causing pain and suffering, and of course embarrassment. She's a big woman, and to be slapped allegedly in public can't be a good thing for the ego, for the mind, for the well-being. In front of several witnesses, that was the allegation. The matter went to the Balaclava Criminal Court, and the Observer reported it 2 days ago. And as I understand it, it was Mayor Scott who offered what I am being told is a substantive settlement. Mayor Scott, given the situation of the case, his lawyer, Charles Ganga Singh, made an offer to settle. And the offer was attractive. And as Francis said, well, she accepted the offer from Mayor Scott. And that's how the matter came to be discharged by the court. So that matter will go no further. No possibility of the mayor going to workhouse, as some predicted. He is free, and Miss Francis has a settlement. I've been given a figure, but I won't mention it on here. People stay. Next thing all kind of relative turn up on Miss Scott yard, wanting this and wanting that. But in context, it's a substantive settlement. I see somebody on the chat, Patrick Stern, saying, I won't repeat what Patrick Stern said. But, yeah, that's one thing. Second thing is this. Some time ago, on May 26th to be precise, or May 24 to be precise, May 24 this year, 2026, our friends at the Gleaner published a story under the headline, Privacy Cry. Government seeks to block IC's access to personnel files in Health Ministry corruption probe. Commission says mandate at risk. Extensive story. Prominent in the story was the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Errol Green, and the ministry was accused of, the ministry was said to have taken steps to block the delivery of 8 personnel files to the Integrity Commission as part of an investigation they were pursuing. And as that story carried on, the Gleaner reported that Errol Green, the permanent secretary, took steps to prevent himself from being served with papers. This part of the story that says, Kevin Stevenson, the Integrity Commission's Director of Investigations, also detailed what he described as prolonged resistance to the Commission's efforts to serve documents. He said the Commission granted multiple extensions between August and December 2025 before Errol Green allegedly began declining calls and ignoring messages from investigators. The Gleaner article went further to say, a senior investigator alleged in an affidavit that a process server intercepted Green in the car park of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, where Green refused to accept service of the documents and thereafter vacated the premises. The article continues, the commission ultimately served the summons on March 2, 2026, more than 6 months after the original notice. Kevin Stevenson argued the delay was fatal to the government's bid for an extension of time to challenge the August 2025 notice, noting judicial review applications must generally be filed within 3 months of when grounds arise. So, a reasonable person reading the article would have found Errol Green to have been obstructionist in his behavior and not wanting the course of justice to run smoothly. That's the conclusion I believe a reasonable man would draw, because that's the conclusion I'm drawing, and I'm a reasonable man. Nationwide, not long after that, invited Errol Green to, speak to some of the allegations made, because the article did not, and the contents therein, did not present the Ministry of Health and Wellness in its best light, and its chief accountant, the permanent secretary, was being made out to be an obstructionist. And so, of course, any good news person, subsequent to a story like that the Gleaner did, would want to know if it is the chief accounting officer of the Ministry of Health and Wellness was indeed being obstructionist and preventing the IC from doing its work. In that interview, specific questions were asked of Errol Green regarding the declining of phone calls and refusing to be served. And this is what he said. Michelle, you better play the clips back to back. Go ahead.
One thing I can tell you is that their tactics is very intimidatory. That's their tactics, very, very intimidatory. Look at how they couch a language when they are making requests from you. They're hounding me now, and I don't expect that it is going to stop. And if it matters before the court, it's sub judice. Look at what is happening now, publishing the Sunday paper, banner headline, one of the worst pictures they can find of me and all of that, trying to put the Ministry of Health, drag the Ministry of Health into further mud, by saying that we're not cooperating. We are cooperating with them. It's unfortunate the way that the article was published. To me, it seems like a Gestapo type of operation, and I say that without fear of contradiction. We are fully cooperating with the Integrity Commission. I said to the parties there, I am willing to give you access to the files. You can come to the office at the Ministry of Health. You can look at them under supervision. If you want to take copies, we'll take the copies for you. But I think it would have been out of place to pack up these files and send them off-site to the Integrity Commission. We wrote to them, we told them that they were not in agreement. We sought legal opinion from the Solicitor General. We took the advice of the Solicitor General, and we are where we are.
So you may be asking, George, after that Michael Holding-esque run-up, where are you going with this? I'm going somewhere, and I'm taking it there right now. Remember what Errol Green said, my interpretation again, is that he was responding to how the article made the Ministry of Health and Wellness appear. He did not, in my view, accuse the Integrity Commission of, well, he did say that their tactics were intimidatory and Gestapo-like. So maybe that's the issue. He said that. But he was more taking issue with how the article made the ministry that he's a principal accounting officer for appear. Well, do you know, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the 4% estate, that consequent upon the interview with Nationwide 90 FM, in which he made the remarks, some of which were played in those two clips you heard just now. Do you know that the Integrity Commission has charged Errol Green with contempt of court? Yes. The Integrity Commission charged Errol Green with contempt of court. And my information is that Errol Green and his attorney spent all day Thursday in court answering to this matter. Yes. My information is he was represented by Assistant Attorney General Lisa White in the matter. Now, before I came on air, I placed 3 phone calls to Mr. Green's mobile phone. He didn't pick up because I wanted to hear from him directly. So usually he answers his phone. He didn't this morning. So I have not been able to reach him. My newsroom is under instruction to seek to get to him this morning for midday news or for a story as soon as they get the story, and definitely for the course of the day, but I've been unable to reach him. The principal accounting officer of the Ministry of Health and Wellness comes on radio to clarify the position that he has taken and their conduct, to explain their conduct, and to seek to protect the good name of the ministry for which he is the chief accounting officer. And the IC have charged the man with contempt of court. I'm going to take a break because there's a first interview to do, and I'm already a minute over time. We've been burning to share something that's personal to me, but I can't share it personally because, you know, it cuts very close to home, and I'm constrained. Yeah, so I can't say it, but it causes me to wonder if the IC is vengeful and is out to persecute people who question it, but I leave that alone. Just to say that Errol Green came, I repeat, and bear with me for repeating it, bear with me for restating it. You cannot have a man or a woman who's the chief accounting officer for a ministry of government who enters the public domain to seek to set the record straight based on things that have been reported about them in the public domain. And I'm not casting any blame on Gleaner for anything, obviously not. Gleaner did their work and Errol Green responded to the work, which is his right? That chief accounting officer came and sought to soften the perspective that persons would have had of the ministry based on the story that the Gleaner put together, put a lot of work into and put together. And the IC charged the man for contempt of court. No, you tell me. You tell me. I don't know how that makes sense. But I haven't seen the details of the court matter. But I know what Errol Green said on Nationwide at 5 the day we interviewed him. And I've listened to it. I've shared 2 other clips that we use for news with you. And in my view, he did what I would expect my permanent secretary to do if I was associated with the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The IC thinks otherwise, and the IC have the man in court. So, I say all that to say, the time I find myself operating with so much constraints this morning, so many. Imagine if they, you know what, leave that alone. Leave that alone. Yeah. Let's take a break and come right back. We'll come back and we have the formal program is set to start anytime now because the minister has just arrived, the Minister of Local Government and Community Development. There's no time for any calls before we go to the minister. You don't think, Nora? All right, when we come back, let's see if we can squeeze in a couple, and then we'll go to the formal program here at Alps New Testament Church of God in South Geelong.